Hello, everybody. My name is Dr. Schultz, and I'm one of the technology administrators for Octorara Area School District. I wanted to take you through two drawing tools that might be helpful for the rest of this year and maybe even going forward, hopefully going forward as well. One is called Google Drawing and one is called Google Canvas. They both do kind of similar things, and they both work within the Google ecosystem here. So they're easy to manage, easy to navigate and get back to. But there are some slight differences. And so this video is primarily for students, but maybe even just for our teachers if you were looking for something to help your students work with. This might be an idea. So to find it here, I'm just going to come into my tab and I'm going to type in Google Canvas. And as I type it in, it's the first one that pops up. Now, it is exactly that. It's a canvas, as in like an art canvas. What's kind of neat about it is you can start with an image and you'd be able to work on the image and draw on the image. You can go back to any of the work that you had previously done, or you can start with a new drawing. And I'll just do the new drawing to show you some of the tools here. And it's really just, these typical tools here. So you could have your pencil, you can draw with your pencil. You could change the color of your pencil. You could change the thickness of your pencil. You have your little fountain pen here that you can work with. You have a marker. You have like a charcoal, and then you have your eraser. Okay, and you can change the different colors of all of these things. Now, Canvas works really well because it's purely free flowing. You're not drawing specific perfect boxes. It would be more for if you're really trying to be artistic and using that palette of colors to express your thinking, express your creativity, and show your work here. All right. The nice part about the Chromebooks being touchscreen is you can use your finger and you can use any of these tools to make what you're working, what you're drawing with here. All right. Pretty easy to work with, pretty easy to use. There's this different options over here. You can save as an image, which is kind of nice. If you're going to be uploading it somewhere, you can save it. It'll basically take a snapshot of whatever you drew, and then you'd be able to upload it either through Schoology, or if you're asked to put it in a Google Drive, it'll load into a Google Drive, or you can email to a teacher, however they want you to send that information. All right. So that's Google Canvas. Really, it's a chance for you to let your creativity kind of run, and you have all these different features that you can work with here. All right. So that's Google Canvas. And then another one I'm going to show you really works more and lives more in your tile here, your G Suite, okay? And that's called Google Drawing. Now, any of our fifth and sixth graders, you guys would actually see when you do work from Classroom, Google Classroom, and you create something new, you'll have the opportunity. This is kind of baked in, this Google Drawing, but this looks a little bit more like your G Suite, your Google Drive, okay? And you notice that because it has the untitled drawing, it looks similar to a Google Doc where you have your file, your edit, your insert, different things like that. So this kind of is more like that. And you'll notice that these tools are similar. So I'm just going to show you a couple of these tools here. The one is if you wanted to insert an image, you can insert it from your Chromebook. What's kind of cool is you could also search from the web. All right, so the draft is coming up here. So if I type in football, all these different pieces come up, right? And when I click on this and I insert it, it'll pop right into my work over here. It'll create that image, and then I can work with this and move with this and change it, okay? So that's kind of cool. Now, what's nice is too, when I move it around, it'll help me with these little lines. It tells me like that's perfectly straight right in the middle. And if I drop it down, it'll get it so I can get it perfectly straight. All right, and perfectly right in the middle. There we go. So that's perfectly in the middle of this Google Drawing. A couple different things you can work with here. You could use your text boxes. So if I drew this text box, I can then type in there, okay, football. I can highlight it and see that I misspelled it, but it's way too dark, so I can change the color, right? I can change it to this white color, and then I can change the size. Going in here, you guys are used to these. You can change the font, you can change the size, and you can work with this here, okay? One thing that might be a little bit different is there's like a layering effect that you can do. So if I wanted to come up to format here and I went into my my arrange, and I went into my ordering options, I have these 4 ideas here. So I can bring to front or I can bring forward. So right now I have this football. It's on top of this picture. But if I have this clicked and I go to arrange and order, I can send it backwards. So now it's gone, right? And so I can almost make it disappear. Okay. Now to get that back, it's hard. I'd have to move these things all around. But what would be easier is this picture of the football. When I go to arrange and order, I can send that backward, and now my football is back. Okay. One thing that you could also do. So I'm going to add another shape here. So let me just grab a shape, and I'll grab this square, and I'll have 3 things in here now. Now it automatically defaults to this light blue color. You can change these. You can do whatever you want to do with these. Okay, so we'll put this weird pinkish color here. So now I have 3 things. So right now it's on top of the football part. So if I wanted to, I'd have to bring that forward. I can grab this box. I'm clicked on it. I can go into arrange. And when I go to order, I have to think, do I want to send it all the way to the very back? And if I do, it'll be layered behind the football picture. Well, that's not really what I want. I want it on top of that. So I have to be kind of thinking about where I want this and how I can arrange this so that my layers are right. So if I bring it all the way forward to the front, right, it'll be on top of everything. I just want to bring it forward 1 layer. Okay, so there you go. And you can have some fun with that. You definitely can play with that moving forward. Last couple things I want to show you here is when I click on this major picture here, I can come to these format options. And when I come to the format options, I have some fun things I can work with. The size and rotation, I don't really work with that much because I like to just move it around on my screen here. I can just move it wherever I want it. Okay. You could be very precise and tell it exactly how big you want it to be. Okay. The things I've done, I haven't needed it to be that precise. When I come to the position part here, and I can minimize this right here. When I come to the position, I can tell it that I want it to be from the top left. Okay, I haven't really used this that much. This would be, you could use your X and your Y coordinates to get it exactly where you want it to be. I haven't really messed with that too much. These are the ones that I've mostly used. This recoloring piece. So if I come down here, I can have some fun with the gradient that's on top of here. Okay, so I'm not going to mess with that. These adjustments, this would be how transparent you want it. So if you move this forward, it will change it where you can, it kind of softens it a little bit. Okay, you can work with the brightness and the contrast and the things like that. So we'll take it back to make it full. And then some of these other ones you can play with. I haven't played with them too much. The drop shadow, you can take your colors and you can change what they would look like and change their transparency. There's a lot of options in here. Some of you that are going to spend a lot of time with this, you're going to have a lot of time to have some fun with all of the material that's in here. Some of it that I'm not overly sure with, and it's not really my job to be overly sure with. It's my job to kind of find cool things to help you express your ideas. All right, and then there's this reflection piece if you needed to mirror image it, okay, and send that whichever side you needed to send it. You can see it's down over here. I'm a little, right, and it comes down on this. Okay, so if you move this piece up, you'd see this little reflection. You can dictate how far down you want it to have to go. So if you're working with something with water, that would especially be helpful. Okay, so that's Google Drawing, and that's Google Canvas. The cool thing about Drawing is it will save to your Google Drive. The best way to get there is to type it into the search bar there, because once you use it a little bit, it'll be in your tiles, right? When I come up here to my tiles, but it isn't typically there, right? If you don't use it a lot, it isn't typically there. Okay, so sometimes you have to scroll down pretty far to find it. Okay, and then there's more. So right now you'll see that it's not even in here. Okay, but I can come down to these more and find it. It's just as easy just to search for it. While I have you in the tiles here, one thing that you can do, I don't know if everybody knows this, is you can move these things around. So if you're in 7th grade and you're not using with Classroom very much, you may not want to have it in this top one. You can just move it down and get it out of the way, right? Perhaps you're using your Google Keep quite a bit. You have your Google Drive, you're using that quite a bit. I end up using the Google Meet with people quite a bit, so I'm going to put this right up front and the top there. So you can move all of these around. All right, you can move all of them around. They're pretty cool. All right, that's it. I might come back and do a video on SketchUp for schools because that's a really cool one if you're into architecture and into building. So I hope you have a great one. Bye-bye.